Temple flat today as Works Minister David Umahi present the Works Ministry's budget, and it says if one of the projects does not meet quality assurance, is ready to throw in the towel. And Senate is demanding full implementation of the defense budget. Hello everyone, welcome to the program and thank you so much for joining in. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I am Sean Wakimale right here in Abuja. Let me quickly take you to the National Assembly where we saw some drama played out today in the defense of the budget of the Ministry of Works. The presentation by Minister David Umahi, the Minister of Works, went on, and when question and answer session began, that was when we saw temper flaring. The Minister of Work had vowed to resign if the ongoing Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project is found to be substandard, declaring his readiness to throwing in the towels should that project fail. Mr. Umahi made a statement during a tense budget defense session before lawmakers, where questions were raised over the award of a section of the project to a company some legislators described as unknown and previously associated with generator sales. Senator Adams Oshomole, in a question and answer session, demanded to know why the contract was taken from an established construction firm and awarded to another company whose reputation, he argued, was not widely known in road construction. Responding, Mr. Umahi dismissed concerns about the contractor's background, insisting that the focus should be on the quality of work delivered rather than perceptions. He said, quote, "I'm just hearing about Mikeno for the first time. Whether they're selling goat or cow, they're doing well. I'm satisfied with the quality of work on the Abuja-Kaduna stretch, and I challenge you to an inspection. Bring the best of your concrete testers. If you test it and it fails, I will throw in the towel." He underscored that the real issue was not whether concrete or asphalt was used, but whether proper supervision was carried out to ensure durability, noting that asphalt failures are often linked to poor oversight rather than material choice. The session, however, was marked by drama and raised voices, and tension flared when the minister asked the lawmaker to pause so he could follow the line of questioning. Some lawmakers immediately took offense at his remarks, prompting Senator Adams Oshomole to caution the minister over his conduct. Take a listen to how this played out.
You cannot! You can't stop me from telling the world that children of the
Oshomole that spoke of the 2 minutes is from APC.
You cannot tell me what to say.
Calm down, please.
You can't tell me what to say. I'm a senator.
You cannot tell me what to say.
I'm a senator.
One more.
Come on there.
Senator Dube, please sit down. Please sit down, Senator Dube.
You can't do that possible.
Senator, go ahead.
Thank you, my brother.
Distinguished.
Thank you.
You are distinguished gentlemen.
Why is it you opening the matter?
And please, you don't pass judgment on your colleague like you said.
Don't go there.
Please. Honorable Senator Okoye. Please, let's move on into this matter. Distinguished. I thought you wanted to ask a question.
At some point, calm returned and the conversation continued. The question and answer session resumed, but the minister was saying that over 95% of the projects under the Federal Ministry of Works are ongoing, making consistent and adequate capital releases critical to their timely completion. Take a listen to the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi.
Take me in the history of this country, apart from Titan, any contractor that completed 180 kilometers of roads, that we are going to do it.
I'm going to contract from Singular. You gave it to the people. Hold on, sir.
I have no regret for terminating that job. I'm telling you, sir, that road that was done by the previous contractor is failing, and that we are maintaining it. And we should be happy and grateful to Mr. President for using concrete. It will last for 50 to 100 years. That's number one. Number two, 168 kilometers. If you add 118 plus 100, it's getting to 280 kilometers of road doing on concrete. And so you want us to finish it in 6 months, sir? Let us check history and find out whether any road project has been this fast in the history of Nigeria. We should be appreciative of Mr. President and Minister of Works. We go there all the time. No any other project in Nigeria, including the legacy project that is this fast.
That was not exactly the only budget defense session that held today at the National Assembly. We saw that of the Ministry of Defense, where the chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Senator Ahmed Lawan, has called for the full and timely implementation of Nigeria's defense budget, warning that delays could undermine the country's security efforts. We were speaking earlier when the Minister of Defense presented the Ministry of Defense 2025 performance and 2026 budget proposal. Senator Lawan has assured the Senate is committed to ensuring that the armed forces receive the necessary resources to carry out their duties effectively. Well, our conversation will follow up on what has been a major conversation and debate on the Electoral Act Amendment and e-transmission result, and of course the issues relating to the action of the Senate. The PDP is reacting to these, and I'd like to let you know what the PDP is saying. We get some very strong reactions to all of that. It's going to be after these political roundup stories.
The 14th Emir of Kano, His Royal Highness Sanusi Lamido II, is advocating the full utilization of the Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement to boost trade, not just in Africa, but globally. The Emir, who gave the advice at an event to mark the 55th bilateral relationship between Nigeria and China, notes that Nigeria stands as a large market in Africa, and countries such as China should consider siting their factories in the country for value addition and job creation rather than importing finished products into the country. The Senate Minority Leader, Senator Abba Moro, is urging Governor Hyacinth Ali of Benue State to take action to address the insecurity in the state. Senator Moro, who represents Benue South Senatorial District, made the call following the abduction of 9 Catholic worshippers in Utonkong community in Benue State, as well as the abduction of 14 travelers along the Utonkong-Opoga Road, which led to the death of a person. The lawmaker believes that the governor, as the chief security officer of the state, must live up to his constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the National Peace Committee (NPC) have forged a strategic partnership to strengthen election security and promote peaceful conduct ahead of the forthcoming Federal Capital Territory Area Council election. This was disclosed when members of the National Peace Committee paid a courtesy visit to the chairman of the commission, Professor Joash Amupiton, in Abuja. Professor Amupiton described the visit as timely, noting that the commission had in the past week concluded a series of engagements with key stakeholders, including security agencies, political parties, civil society organizations, and the media, as part of final preparations for the FCT election. The INEC chairman commended the National Peace Committee for establishing an election security information hub to complement institutional efforts at conflict prevention and electoral risk mitigation. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Adamawa State has embarked on grassroots mobilization to strengthen its structures ahead of the local government elections in the state. The chairman of the party in the state, Mr. Hamza Bello Madagali, announced this during a rally in Madagali local government area of the state. He says the party remains solid and dominant in Adamawa State and commends the people of the area for their support to the administration of Governor Umar Fintiri. To Oyo State, where the All Progressives Congress has inaugurated 33 local government ambassadors for the Renewed Hope agenda to continue the drive to secure electoral victory for President Tinubu's second-term bid. The event, which took place at the State Party Secretariat, Okeado, Ibadan, had in attendance key leaders of the party in the state and the Southwest in general.
Thank you so much, everyone. You've been served with your political roundup stories. So, Nigeria's electoral reform debate is once again taking time to say, guys, controversy now trails the National Assembly's ongoing amendment of the Electoral Act. At the heart of all of these disputes is the Senate's decision to allow both electronic and manual transmission of election results, a move the opposition People's Democratic Party, which is one of the latest to react to some of the issues, is warning could undermine the credibility of the 2027 general elections. While lawmakers cite concerns over infrastructure and technological failure, civil society groups and opposition figures insist that real-time electronic transmission remains critical to transparency and public trust in the electoral process. So now we take the conversation forward. We'll be examining the implications of Senate's position, what this means, the optics of it, the political tension it has triggered, and what it could mean for Nigeria's democracy. Our guest tonight is an ambassador designate and an APC supporter, Mr. Reno Omokri. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. This is perhaps the first time you are appearing on national TV after your appointment. And your screening,
yes,
which came with a lot of criticism, actually.
Well, we passed that bridge.
And one of those strong critics is Showore, who doesn't believe that you deserve to represent the country anywhere around the globe. In fact, he's one of those who think that you are an hypocrite.
Well, his lawyer played my videos in court, and then it leaked. Obviously, I believe it was from Showore. But here's the thing. Showore was accused in court. He's been tried for criminal defamation. And when he went to court, he said, well, Reno also did it. No, I did not do it. Listen, I did say some negative things about the president between 2022 and 2023. And then when the president was, but on the day of his inauguration, which was Monday, May 29, 2023, I asked Nigerians, listen, let's support this man pending the decision of the Supreme Court. Now, on Thursday, October 26, when the Supreme Court passed judgment, on that same day, I said, listen, I accept the judgment and we should put everything behind us. I have taken back whatever I said. And then 2 days later, I was on television. That's on Saturday, the 28th of October. And I withdrew all of those allegations because the Supreme Court had given judgment and cleared it. And don't forget, I went to Chicago State University. Nobody, all of these people they were talking, they didn't go. September 19, 2022, I went there. I was the first person to say that this man actually attended Chicago State University, even though it was against my own political interest. But then I continued to maintain about the forfeiture judgment because I did go to the Chicago court and I confirmed that. But then when the Supreme Court passed the judgment, I said, no, this man was never convicted. It was client funds. And I'm a lawyer. You've got accountants, people who represent people in fiduciary positions. You can have a client, and then that client, his funds are convicted. And that's what happened in this case. And then when that judgment was passed, I said I was sorry. I came on several news stations. I went on News Central, and I used the word that the president has been exonerated. I have a master's in law from England. The word exonerated means that the president has been absolved by a judicial body. And don't forget, Wednesday, June 11, 2025, I was here with you. You asked me that question. And again, on this program, on this platform, I said I dropped those allegations because they were not true. At the time I said those things, I believed they were true. But then, when I found out they were not true, especially first the Chicago State University affair, and then later on after the Supreme Court judgment, I came out and I dropped those things. And then even what the public does not know is that I sought private audience with the president. October 1, 2024. I apologized to him to his face, and I told him I wasn't being malicious. At the time I said those things, I believed them. When I found out that it wasn't true, your own party did not go to Chicago. I went to Chicago. Against my own political interests, I cleared you. I told the world. It was after I spoke that the BBC, then other papers, other media all around the world began to say, yes, the man did attend Chicago State University. So I don't understand why Showore is doing this. If you go to court and you are charged with a crime, you don't say, this person did it. No, that is a very childish defense. You come out and then you defend yourself because there is a situation in law. It's a principle. It's called suitable target for maximum impact. No government on earth can afford to prosecute everybody who commits who commits a crime. So what you do is that you pick a suitable target for maximum impact to deter people from committing crimes. And that's what they've done with Sowore. So he should defend himself. I mean, I worry about Sowore's state of mind. Because if you recall, when he was asked, he's a presidential candidate, how do you want to improve the economy of Nigeria? He said, well, we should grow marijuana, Indian hemp. I mean, think about that. This is a drug that is considered a Class B drug in the United Kingdom. It is banned in several countries. This man said that is the key to Nigeria's economic survival. Listen, if Nigeria's grounds is fertile enough to produce Indian hemp, then it stands to reason that it is fertile enough to produce more valuable cash crops. And I can give you 5 of them. Ginseng, saffron, medicinal mushrooms, exotic flowers, wasabi. Each of these 5 cash crops are more valuable, and then there's a higher demand for them than Indian hemp.
I mean, you told me in an interview that if offered, you will never take anything from this government.
No, that's not what I said. I said if I told you, you asked me a question that if Tinubu asks me to work with him, I said that I will not. And I said that the word I used was that it is not in my DNA. Right? That's what I said.
Has your DNA changed?
No, my DNA has not changed.
But you are eating your words right now.
No, I'm not eating my words.
Okay.
When I met with administration officials, and then, look, I can't say everything that was said. I explained to them, I said, this is what I'd said. I cannot take certain positions because I'd said that I cannot work for this, I mean, because of certain things, particularly because of the things that I said. However, I never said that I cannot work for Nigeria. As an ambassador, I am working for Nigeria. I'm going to be an ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So this appointment is an exception of your philosophy.
Very clearly.
So if you were giving a ministerial appointment, you wouldn't have taken it.
You know what?
Or a special
advisor. Let me ask you a question.
Role.
Do you even know? I mean, I cannot say everything. So, look, I've just said this here. When I had discussions, I said, look, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do this because of what I had said and because of the positions I've held. However, I can do this because then I will be working for Nigeria. But even at that, my position on President Bola Tinubu has changed. I believe he is the best thing for Nigeria. Why?
And you don't think that you looked to some Nigerians who are watching now as a hypocrite?
I mean, that's the thing. A lot of Nigerians are very emotional. I did, in fact. I mean, was I not the one that went to Chicago State University, and when I went there, I verified that the president attended? All the people that were talking, no, he did not attend. No, that was emotions. I did, in fact.
Were you paid to change your stance?
I wasn't paid to change my stand. What did they? I mean, I was a very strong supporter of Waziri Atiku Abubakar when I went to Chicago State University. What happened? I saw the truth and I said the truth, even though the truth was against my own political interest. I deal with facts. I'm not an emotional person. So when the facts change, I change with them. Only a stupid person does not change when the facts change.
All right. Let's go into to what has become a national conversation, which is the electronic transmission of results, and the fears are that, well, we are towing a line where some folks are staging the process for which an election can be easy to rig. And that's why the agitation that there must be electronic transmission of result. The position of the Senate yesterday is even being rejected by some elites in the society and many Nigerians who believe that that is not enough. The barest minimum that Nigerians can take is instantaneous, real-time electronic transmission of result. Why do you think it's difficult for that to be achieved?
Okay, I'm asking you a question, Sheung. Can you name a country in the world that they have real-time electronic transmission of results? Name a country.
No, I'm the one.
So that's the thing now. The United States. I mean, today, I mean, some of these people, and including a senator who should know better, said that, listen, we should ask Starlink to give us the ability to do a real-time electronic transfer. Do you know this country where Starlink originates from? The United States. Even in the United States, there is no real-time transmission of election results. In the United States, so you are asking Starlink to give us what their country of origin has not gotten. Look, you have to understand something. these people, they are probably confused because they see on television in America when the elections are done that the results are done almost in real time. No, that's not the results. That is the media. The media, they work on what they call exit polls. So those exit polls, in most cases, is going to agree with what the Federal Electoral Commission, that's the body that conducts elections in the United States, does, which will come about a week later. However, it is wrong to take what the media is telling you. Because, I mean, if you look at what happened in 2000, you saw that because of the media, real time, the media projecting that President George Bush had won, Al Gore conceded. And then they found out that the media was wrong. And what happened? Al Gore called George Bush to withdraw his concession. You cannot rely on those kinds of things. So if you want to have electronic transmission of results, I support that. I don't think anybody who is going to be against that is patriotic.
All right. So this is the argument here. Transmitting the result electronically does not displace the physical copy of the result. And even when you hack into it, it doesn't change the physical copy. And those who debate will say, look, transmitting the electronic result gives a level of transparency. It allows citizens to be able to monitor. It allows people to be able to follow what is going on and allows for transparency and accountability in the process. And that's what Nigerians are asking for. It's a means of watching and monitoring because of the experience of 2023. Because people believe that there are those who are capable of manipulating election results. And when they do that, destinies of millions of people are being manipulated.
Everybody agrees to what you just said. Electronic transmission, yes, even the Senate agrees, the APC agrees, the President agrees. People agree to electronic transmission. The issue is these people asking for unrealistic policies of real-time electronic transmission.
Why is it unrealistic?
Because, I mean...
Did you watch the South African election?
The South African election...
There is a big screen where everyone could see the result as it was coming in.
No, that's not what happened in South Africa.
What happened in South Africa?
I've been to South Africa.
Did you monitor the election?
I did monitor the election.
But did you see at the central, in the capital, where there is a large screen at the election center where you could see all the results that were coming in? Same thing in Kenya. Same thing in Ghana.
Can I respond to that? Same thing in Nigeria. Same thing in Nigeria in the 2023 election. What you saw in South Africa on that big screen was when the election results were being transmitted, but not being transmitted in real time. What happened in South Africa is exactly what happened in 2023 in Nigeria. Election results can be transmitted electronically in Nigeria. However, and just like it's not just in Nigeria, it's also in the United States, there are going to be places where you don't have coverage because Nigeria is a large country. In the United States, even that is the most technologically advanced country in the whole world. There are huge swathes of the United States where they don't have coverage. So what is the solution? The United States Federal Electoral Commission allows what they call mail-in ballots. So people, they don't even go to the polling booths, they mail their ballots. So that's, I mean, it's common sense. Let's not just get carried away with emotions. Even in Peter Obi's village, Agulu, there are areas where you don't have coverage. Peter Obi is the largest shareholder in a bank. I'm not going to mention that bank. Last year, that bank, it got reported to the Central Bank of Nigeria that there are real-time money transfers. There are access to real-time banking app, access to real-time SSD service of that bank. I mean, a lot of their customers, huge swathes of their customers could not access real-time services. Now, this is a bank having about between 5 to 10 million customers. If they cannot deliver real-time money transfer services, and this happens to all banks, how can you expect INEC to deliver real-time electronic transmission of results?
But INEC said they can.
No, INEC said that they can do electronic transmission, not real-time electronic transmission of results.
So for the sake of our viewers and these conversations, whichever way anyone belongs in this country, is for the advancement, I believe, of our democracy. Either we get it right or get it wrong, it's detrimental to us or is advancing our cause. But the conversation here is, and if you seated here, if you are on a flight, for example, and they offer you an in-flight internet, sometimes you get to a particular region and it fails.
Yeah.
And you're trying to send, sometimes you may not be able to make calls, or you can send me emails and messages. And once you send a message in flight and it's not delivering on WhatsApp, at the moment where there is no network. Once you get to a network area, what happens is it gets delivered and the recipient gets it. And that's what a lot of Nigerians are saying. Do your own bit in doing the real time. Do it whenever you get into the network area, it's going to drop. And Nigerians are saying, let the law be more progressive rather than we retrogressing the hand of the law.
But they say that's the mistake that a lot of people are making, and this is what I talk about emotions. You are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a social media. You cannot compare a social media with a technologically advanced system of real-time transmission of election results. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Those people that say that, okay, Starlink should be consulted and Starlink should give us, do you understand something there that if you get Starlink to start doing that, first and foremost, you are having data breach because you are giving the data of your citizens to a foreign power. No reasonable country on earth will do that. The United States, where Starlink comes from, even their Federal Electoral Commission will not do that. Because what it means is that Starlink and Elon Musk own Starlink. And Elon Musk, he has his own... Look, have you seen Elon Musk's interview? He did say, this is the owner of Starlink, that he does not even believe in electronic transmission of results, not real time. They were talking about electronic transmission of results because he said that it can be hacked. And I'm going to quote him, I have been coding since I was 19 years old, and I know that e-voting can be hacked.
Okay, let's take this conversation in this way. And yesterday I was explaining to our viewers, there are 3 legs on the election day for the electoral process. The first is accreditation. Second is voting. And the third is result transmission. In all of these 3 layers, only one leg has electronic or digital aspect to it, and which is our accreditation process. Our voting is manual, and our result transmission is also manual. There are those who believe that, and rationally speaking, we use an electronic device for accreditation, and it's worked. There was a time in this country that the law says if the card reader machine, which was what we were using before the beavers, if it fails, you can use the incident form. And we saw how rigging was perpetrated because of the incident form. That was scrapped after some Supreme Court judgment had established that the discretion given to officials of INEC could advance rigging process. So if the beavers, which is an important part of the electoral process, is working, which gives you instantaneous, digital, and electronic means of conducting the exercise, and is working everywhere in Nigeria. Without it, you cannot continue or you cannot do anything. Why can't it work for result transmission? And I'm talking to you as an election expert.
Okay, because with the beavers, you already have data that is in your data bank. So all you're doing is you're capturing the data and you're comparing it to what you have. You're not creating something new and sending it. Now, you've got to realize something, Shehu. Look, if real-time transmission of election results was a good idea and was practicable, why isn't it being done in the United States? Why isn't it being done in the United Kingdom? So you've got to ask yourself these questions. Let's not be
We're not talking about e-voting.
Yes.
Which is different.
No, I didn't say e-voting.
E-voting, because those who talk about hacking of election result are missing it. Our law, the Constitution, backed physical, manual collation of results, which is the substantive, which is the primary way of getting results announced. The e-voting, the e-transmission, a lot of people are getting it wrong. It's not your substantive. It's not your primary way of getting results. It's just a backup. It's just for citizens' engagement and citizen accountability. And I think a lot of people are not very informed about the process, and that's why they were fighting it. Because to the large extent, and as a lawyer, there are 4 legs into the version of the House of Reps, which talk about 1, real-time, simultaneous, electronic voting, and also confirmation that as it's happened, it has to be in the physical form and in the transmission form. Those are 4 legs in which the review of that section is talking about. In all of this, there's nothing that affects how even if you hack into the IRFV portal, it doesn't change the physical, which is a primary way of collation results.
And that is what we've been trying to explain to Nigerians, because it's very easy to get our people, just worked up and very emotional. You got to understand something. The reason why someone like Peter Obi is doing this is because they don't have a real party structure. And what do I mean? If you have a polling unit, you're meant to have your party agent in every polling unit. Once you have your party agent in every polling unit, it is impossible to rig. Because what happens there, that form EC8A, what happens there is this. The presiding officer signs and all the party agents sign. And so if you declare something at Annex office that differs from that, then you can go to court, and that's what happened in court. You tender it. Now, what happens is that in the 2023 election, Labour Party did not have party agents in all the polling units. So because they didn't have party agents in all the polling units, in the polling units where they lost and they didn't have party agents, they used their imagination and said, oh, we must have been cheated. So the issue with them is this. ADC, Labour Party, it doesn't matter. Get your party agents in each of the polling units. In Nigeria, we cannot do real-time transmission of election results. A lot of people will
disagree with you on that.
Okay.
But do you know the suspicion?
Yeah,
the suspicion is that the ruling APC wants to rig election. And the agitation on the opposition and civil society.
But listen to this.
But do you
No, let me respond to that. No, hang on. Let me respond to that. That doesn't make sense, because if you have, let's say it's even possible, and there's 100% coverage in Nigeria, and you have real-time transmission of election results. Are you aware that it is the printed EC8A form with the result and everything that is actually the primary documentary evidence? So if that form differs with what has been transmitted, it is that form that is actually taken in court. You understand what I just said? I've broken it down. So you have this paper form that the presiding officer signs, and then all the party agents sign. That is the real result. If that result is different, if it differs from what has been transmitted electronically, what has been transmitted electronically is null and void to the extent of its inconsistency with that document. So how can people rig?
Do you send money to, do you have anybody in the village, in the remote area where you send money to?
Well, I'll put it this way.
No, do you?
No, I'm going to answer
your question.
Allow me answer your question.
No, but go ahead.
Yes, you ask.
Because I see that you want to digress from that question.
No, I'm not going to digress. I'm going to answer the question. Okay. I have tried to send money with using Peter Obi's bank, and the money has failed to get there. And that money has failed to get reversed. And then the person who did that transaction is here. I can ask him to come here. He made a complaint. And we are still waiting for that money to come back. This bank prides itself, I'm not going to mention the bank, prides itself as having the best internet facility in Africa. And yet, they're having this issue. Now, this bank is not going to be with everybody, but a significant portion. And it's not just this bank, a lot of banks. So yes, banks do have the capacity for real-time money transfer, but it is not 100% safe.
Why are you so fixated about Peter Obi?
No,
it looks like Peter Obi makes you uncomfortable.
How can Peter Obi?
Are you worried about the possibility of Peter Obi coming back to the verve of political prominence?
A man who was caught on camera saying that he's declaring a religious war on Muslims. Anybody that believes that such a man can win an election in Nigeria is obviously delusional.
Are you worried, Mr. Omokri, that in the opposition who believes that what is going on is that your party that you support is jittery, and is worried that its popularity is far spent and doesn't have what it can carry through the election of 2027. And there are those who will say 2027 is the end of the Tinubu and the APC reign in Nigeria.
But
that's the opposition's belief. And they are working tactically on that.
Let's be factual. Let's not be emotional. If the opposition could not defeat a Bola Tinubu with about 20 governors in 2023, how are they going to be able to defeat him right now with 30 governors? If the opposition could not defeat the president when he had not fulfilled his campaign promises. How can they defeat him when he has fulfilled his campaign promises? Just last week, we saw that the IMF were on air, and I'm sure you watched it, saying that right now they go about from country to country telling them that if you want reforms that work, learn from Nigeria. Look, by the time this president took office, our GDP was so low. We had gone from the first in Africa to about the fourth. Right now, we have the second largest manufacturing capacity in Africa. We have added $67 billion to our GDP in 2 years. Our foreign reserves have gone from an almost low of in the low 30 billions to right now they are about 49.
Is the average person listening to this English that you're speaking?
Listen,
do they understand it?
Listen,
can they feel it? Can they see it?
Can I respond to that?
Those are the issues.
Can I respond to that? What the average person knows is this, is that since Bola became president, they had never had to queue at the petrol station to get fuel. Fuel is readily available. Fuel is inexpensive. In fact, this is the first government that we've seen since the Yar'Adua government where fuel has gone down in price multiple times. Not once, multiple times. So, in their pockets, they're feeling it. Do not allow yourself to be moved by these people who go to the National Assembly to go and protest. Those are elites. They are trying to snatch power. The average Nigerian has seen his... Oh, are we done?
We are done.
Come on now. The average Nigerian has seen his purchasing power increase. If you take $50 right now in Nigeria, convert it to Naira, what you buy from the market, you cannot buy... In any West African country, Nigeria has significantly more purchasing power.
What would you do if this government loses the election in 2020?
That's democracy in action. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's democracy in...
You think ADC may not be able to defeat this government, or Labour Party, or any opposition?
Okay, let me ask you a question, please. I want to ask you a question. In the history of this country, has any party been able to win a presidential election without having a single state? So the best predictor... let me answer the question. The best predictor of the future is the past. It has not happened. It will not happen. Look at...
So Bola Tinubu will win in 2027. That's your position.
The president right now is incredibly popular. When people... Look, before this man became president, you had states, about 1/3 of the states, they couldn't pay salaries. Now, every state is paying salaries. Why? Because under Bola Tinubu, with the state they are receiving is about 300% what they were receiving under General Buhari.
Mr. Omokri, we're totally out of time. Sorry. Thank you so much indeed. Ambassador Designate, Omokri, thank you so much indeed for your time.
And thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
God bless.
We'll take a break, everyone, but when we return, it does look like the Nenadi Usman Labour Party leadership is taking over the party office. We'll be speaking with Senator Darlington Nwokocha, who is the National Secretary of the Labour Party. That's after this break. Join us again, everyone. Back to the conversation. The Senator Nenadi Usman-led caretaker committee of the Labour Party has taken over the party secretariat in Abuja. Mrs. Usman arrived the secretariat in the company of the acting National Secretary, Senator Darlington Nwokocha, and the Deputy Governor of Abia State and other members of the caretaker committee. And there was presence of security personnel around at the National Secretariat of the party to forestall any kind of trouble around the building. Already a billboard with the photographs of Senator Usman and the acting National Secretary, Senator Nwokocha, is being hoisted around the building. Wise. Speaking as journalist, Mrs. Usman says the party is ready to reconcile with all aggrieved members. The party as well as registering now new members ahead of the 2027 general elections. I'm now being joined by the acting National Secretary of the Labour Party, Senator Darlington Nwokocha. He's live for us here in our studio. It's good to see you, Senator. Thanks so much indeed for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Maybe congratulations in order. You've been in court in and out of... maybe congratulations in order. You've been in court in and out of court, struggling. The court have thrown you out. You've been battling for INEC to reinstate your leadership. But before we get into that, as a former member of the National Assembly, what is your view about this heated and tense national conversation on the e-transmission of results?
Thank you, Seun. Good enough, you say, as a serial legislator. I think the National Assembly, they are the representative of the people, no matter how you see it. And my position is that at all times, they should take their resolution within the confines, the whims of Nigerian interest at all times. Because as they are representing the people, they need to seek. That's why you have the three major elements of functions of a legislature: lawmaking, representation, and oversight. So that of representation, which has to do with the interface with the people, is very key. So whatever their feelings are concerning a particular issue, you go back. Apart from the public hearing, you now go back to see how you can assuage it and come out with the proper position that will make almost majority of the people happy, because you cannot attend to all.
So all hope is not lost. There's still a remedy.
Yeah, definitely. They're doing their work.
Let me take you to the leadership question of the Labour Party. Would you say that you are out of the woods just yet?
Well, presently we are. We are, because all along, like you said, there have been several court cases, judgments, and up and down. Presently, the Federal High Court in Abuja, has strengthened what the Supreme Court, which is the peak, the apex court in Nigeria, had already established. So they had strengthened. And remember, the person of Abure who came in through the court, I wonder why he should in any way feel bad when the court said, this is our position, and the regulator, which is INEC, said, this is our position. So I think that's the end of it all.
Those who will say, even the regulator, INEC, that is, doesn't have the power and as much say in the internal workings of any political party. And the Supreme Court has made it clear that political parties should be allowed to be able to determine their own internal affairs. And that freedom and independence that the court of the land has given the political parties. But then, in this sense, in the Labour Party sense, it has not been rested, finally, because the Supreme Court is still there. And the Abure faction of the party is saying they will pursue it to the very end. They're appealing the court judgment that has upheld the Nenadi Usman as an authentic leadership of the Labour Party. Well, are you ready for that?
Yes, is their right. But I wonder what they're challenging, what they're going to challenge.
But if the appellate, you lose at the appellate, what happens?
I'm not sure that we're going to lose. We can lose.
There's a possibility.
Is that I don't know about that. What I'm talking about is now. Now, we've not lost, and I don't think we're going to lose. Because if you say that party affairs has to be handled internally, now you look at the pendulum, which side has the stronger and greater people and organs of the administration of the party, the BOT, the NEC, the National Working Committee, and things like that. Now, when you work the pendulum, you now see that it's stronger and heavier on our side. You have the governor there, who is presently the national leader of the party. You have the BOT, the configuration of TUC, all of them.
Are they with you?
Of course.
TUC and
while we were in our office, they were there. So they're there. So
the Abure faction feels that your side, your group, has hijacked the party and used the back door to hijack the party. That they gave the Alex Oti and the Peter Obi of this world a platform, but you've used, you cornered the party and you've hijacked the party. That is what they feel.
No, giving a platform, it then means they lack ideas of what they have been doing or what they're supposed to do. If you're in a party, there are certain structures that you must follow to produce certain group of people that will now turn to be leaders of the party. You cannot just say because you're a local government party chairman or you're state chairman of the party, then you have a governor in the state. Because you collected form or you campaigned during his campaign, you are now, because of that, you are now the leader of the party in the state. It's not done. So that mentality of, oh, because I am here, therefore, because I sold the form to you, therefore, I am now the leader. It doesn't work like that. Today, somebody like the president of the country is the leader of the party of APC in Nigeria. So now saying that, oh, he said that he midwifed the process that now helped, in the process of selling the forms. There are people now, at the end of the day,
can anyone trust that platform to run for any office? That party has been emptied, decimated, and destroyed to a large extent. How do you want to rebuild it for any good purpose?
I wonder what you mean by that. We have...
You know the number of lawmakers that you have lost?
As we are losing, we are gaining.
I've not seen anybody that have gone into the Labour Party.
No.
Has anyone?
Of course, from the State Assembly. We have some of them coming in. And let me tell you, before the people you said, the National Assembly members, they left the party, they were not members of National Assembly before they came into the Labour Party. So now, we are now building, we have started we have our National Steering Committee for membership revalidation and new members registration. So now we're building up again. And with that, and I can assure you at the end of the day, competent people are coming. They are calling across the entire Nigeria. They want to be part of what we are doing. And our party is very strong.
That the steam that your party got was in 2023. And Peter Obi was at the center of it. Peter Obi is the spirit of it. And that spirit has since left. And that your party, the Labour Party, may never be able to recover from the exit of Peter Obi is the spirit that has empowered the Labour Party, and a lot of people who were nobody in the real political sense and got into the party won offices without the obedient and the Peter Obi acclaim that they may never had won any position. But how do you want to do it without Peter Obi now?
Well, in every architecture in life, whether in the church, Muslim, you don't even have only one spirit, like you mentioned, that the spirit of Labour Party is that of Peter Obi. No. I respect him very well. He's a very outstanding being as far as Labour Party is concerned. But that notwithstanding, we have some other people as well. Are you saying that somebody like Dr. Alex Oti is not a brand enough to lead the party? There are so many other people that are showing interest here and there. So for the fact that he has decided to say, no, I want to go and see what's happening somewhere else and took the decision, that does not mean that the party is dead.
Since Olusegun Mimiko left the Labour Party, the party has not remained the same until 2022 when Peter Obi and the rest joined the Labour Party. And the Labour Party has never performed in the manner, never garnered the kind of vote in millions that he got in any presidential election as he got under Peter Obi. And you're saying that without Peter Obi, you still can. And I'm going to ask you, how do you want to achieve that? Yes. Who do you have at the national level?
Yes, good enough that you mentioned Mimiko. The exit of Mimiko, now it took another lap for Mr. Peter Obi to come in. Now, Peter Obi, as you said, has exited, right? Now, you can't just block the expectation that some other Peter Obis can still walk in for us to build the party very well. And as I speak, we still have some other competent hands as well, with very top and top-notch pedigree at the end of the day that will give us what we desire. The
belief that there are some magical hands and the unseen political hands that is been manipulating the Labour Party, and the fear that those hands are still in the Labour Party. Anybody who goes there is a cursed house, and you may not be able, because there are those who believe that opposition political parties are being witch-hunted, so that we have a stronger political atmosphere, and we only have very powerless opposition political parties in the country that won't be very strong ahead of the presidential election of 2027. How do you convince those who believe that the Labour Party is cursed from the magical and the invincible political hands?
Well, there's no political party, whether APC, PDP, Labour Party, that doesn't got its own problem or issues. As you mentioned, hands or whatever. It depends on how you manage it, how you manage your party. Even APC, they have their own problems. They are managing it. Labour Party, we have our own problems. We are managing it. By the time you remove your eyes from the ball, and now at the end of the day, you are feeling, oh, there are big hands that's wielding us, that are wishing us the worst and whatever, you may get distracted. And I can tell you that we are so focused that nothing can deter us.
So Labour Party has not lost its spirit?
At all. We're very strong.
And we're getting a sense of it?
Of course. We're getting stronger every day.
You cannot, you will not be able to participate in the FCT elections, right?
Yes.
No, you are not able to.
We're not able to participate.
In Ekiti, you may not be able to.
Of course.
Or Osun State, you may not be able to.
Of course.
Because the time has gone.
That's right.
So you are only eyeing the 2027 elections.
Definitely.
Is that not a damage to your party?
It is not. If the system that produced all those was not well organized, There's no way we can key in because we are very procedural. We respect the rule of law. We respect all that has to do with proper management of the party.
Because
so if anything
right
is
now,
inconsistent with our ideals, we push it aside.
This is an Alex Otti party. That's what it looks like.
No.
Just like a Soludo app guy.
No, it's not.
It's
not Dr. Alex Otti party. It's not.
He's the leader of your party.
He's the leader of the party.
He's the only governor of the party.
Definitely. He's the leader of the party, but it's not his party. If you want to join the party now, he cannot tell you don't join the party because it's his party. And he's not that kind of a human being. He's a very liberal-minded person, and we're very focused. The present leadership of the party is very focused. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, by the time we are done with our congresses and convention, the kind of things you used to identify, we used to know the Labour Party about the administration level, you won't see it again.
Are you not worried that Alex Otti is being also touted to wanting to leave the Labour Party for the APC?
He has not left. He's still in the Labour Party as of today.
But you heard that he might leave?
Well, I heard that yourself. You want to join the APC as well.
Who?
Yourself. So,
who are you talking about?
you, Sheung. So,
me, Sheung Akimale.
Okay.
I've always been wanting a journalist.
He's still in the Labour Party till now.
for some of us,
he's still in the Labour Party.
Political party and politics is not. It's not our thing. We could do much more with our lives than being in politics.
What I want to let you know is these are all rumors. Until that happens, but for now, he's a member. As at this evening, before I came into this place, he's still a member of Labour Party.
But from what we've heard now, the Abure group has gone and pulled down the billboard you hoisted.
Well, I think that is an extraordinary rascality, which, most of us, I wonder why somebody of that nature, maturity, you can get it through exposure, through academics, through interaction. But where all these things are not reflecting positively in your character and your context, it means there's a problem beyond that. He pulled down the flex, the billboard. Maybe he went to so much into technology that anything we want, we can get it without even touching his files.
But are you still open to receiving him, to aligning with him, to resolving the issues, to sitting down with him?
Well, we have set up a reconciliation committee. But that reconciliation committee can only be hinged on the fact and level of repentance and the kind of, if we see that you're going to turn out to be a little kerosene into what we're doing, I mean, what's the need?
So there's a possibility of reconciling with Abure?
If he repents, if he behaves well. But with all this kind of rascality, these are not the kind of people we want the kind of characters we want in the party. No. You must be gentle, you must be calm, you must be intelligent, you must be sound. You must be quite presentable in all spheres. So trying to jump the fence or sending people jumping the fence or pull down it's an outdated style of, hasn't it been replaced? Those things have been replaced. Everything has been replaced except the fires he carted away, which we don't even need.
Mr. Dati, the VP presidential, vice presidential candidate in the 2023 elections on the platform of your party, says he still remains a member of the Labour Party. And there are those who say maybe he has interest to run for president. Has that been established?
Well, he has not bought any presidential form from us. Maybe, because when that happens, then I will know.
Do you guys miss Peter Obi?
Why not? He was our leader. We respect him a lot, a whole lot. But all the same, before he left, he considered so many things. Like I told you last time, he considered so many things. He's a man with a tall reputation. And with that, I'm not sure he can come back because...
Can he come back?
No, Peter is not that kind of a person.
He won't come back?
No, Peter
What if he's come back? What if he comes back? Would you people give him the ticket?
I said that with the kind of reputation everybody knows him about. He can't come back. Because the man
is a foregone man.
Of course. Because
Peter Obi is forever gone from the Labour Party.
Well, except I don't know what you mean by that. But what I'm saying, with the kind of reputation he has, He took so many things into consideration. It's not a decision he took just one day by a flip.
But will the Labour Party be working with ADC and the rest as a coalition?
Why are we going to work with them?
Are you working with the APC?
We are not working with anybody. It's an independent party.
All right.
Yes.
Senator Darlington Owokocha is the acting National Secretary of the Labour Party. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
I wish you and your party the very best.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you so much indeed.
All right.
And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Wakimale. God bless Nigeria.